As you can see from the other clip, I got a new bike. It's an oldie. It's a Diamondback Sorrento. I had made a post on Nextdoor on Wednesday, I think it was, but I didn't do it like I normally do on Nextdoor. I made an actual post instead of a listing. So, in doing so, the lady that owned it, I said, well, in the post I said, I'm looking for unwanted and unused bikes. And then like 5 minutes later, she responded saying I could pick it up, as well as the second one, whenever I wanted to, or if I wanted to wait until tomorrow, like I ended up doing, her and her husband could drop them off. So I took that one because even though they don't live that far away, just right over the bridge, since it was 2 bikes and not one, it would have been a little bit harder to do it with my bike trailer. Sorry about the angles. Trying to get the chest piece on tight. It got loosened up since I wore it last, so it seems. And I forgot which way it tightens it. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. I've wanted this bike for like 6 months or something, maybe a little less, maybe a little more, a few months at least, if not longer. And I didn't know what I was getting. I never ask, because if it's someone like her that just offers me one or more bikes, I would just say sure, and then see what to do about how to get it to me, whether it's dropped off like she did with her husband, or if I pick it up by myself, or get a ride by my mom. So, to my amusement, or excitement I guess, I found out after when I was helping her husband, after seeing the bottom, I was like, ooh, this looks nice. Then I saw the Diamondback and I was like, alright, we're working. Then I saw the name right before as I was picking it up, before I took it and picked up the other bike to take them in the house, and I was a happy camper. Mostly I got a little too happy because I was having a hard time with the video. It's uploaded now, but the video I shot on Thursday, it was over an hour, so I made that, it was an hour and like 2 minutes, so I did that. But yesterday, before they came over, I decided to do it in parts, and as I was doing that, one of them went through no problem, but then the second one, it took like 4 or 5 times, I can't remember now, but it get to a certain point rendering, and then my editing software would just randomly stop and shut itself without any warning, not even asking if I wanted to save the project. So it happened twice before they came, and then I went outside to wait for them, and then sometime on the in-between of me being outside and then going back in my room, it stopped again for a 3rd time. Then I tried it again, and I think I think I tried it once more. It did it 3 or 4 times, and I finally got it to work after restarting my computer and giving it like 4 to 6 hours, something like that, to mellow out. And then finally went through. It didn't take that long, because it's like 15 or 16, 17 minutes once it was working. But I was kind of annoyed, so it kind of made me happy getting a bike I wanted, but I hadn't bought it because I didn't actually need it. I just liked how it looked, you know. But that's that. And I've never gone this way. I've gone to the park, but not this far. And I've only come here like 2 or 3 other times with my family to meet my sister when she was living in Oakland, and then a couple times since she's been living in Sacramento. So, new adventure for me too. Since it's Saturday, I decided to get out because it's Saturday, and my mom also, as I've mentioned before, has a Zoom church, and has to talk and get awkward. Thank you. Sorry if it's all jittery. I couldn't really, I'm all sweaty, so I was having a hard time tightening the straps, and I'd rather do it with the straps on my shoulders so I can actually feel it, you know, and see it as well. Well, it's a low guy. Oh, Jesus. I don't know if I needed to duck, but I called this safe. I almost passed out 3 different times coming up here because it's kind of hot again for the hour, and it's been a while since, oh, that is what, okay, I know right. Interesting, okay. That's at the street, okay. The stream I'm about to talk about is what I just went under, ironically. So it's a huge hill, which I knew. I don't know if I've ever gone up it, and if I have, I mean, I've only been a couple times when I had a red line, single speed, that had a rear wheel with a flip-flop. That bike actually got me into riding fixed gears since the option came stock on the bike, and I used to come up here more often back then, but this is where all the hills are by my house, not too far from where the first Zodiac attack was. Maybe I could go over there, but anyways, the hill was super steep, and I thought I could do it being on a geared bike, but I haven't ridden a geared bike in a year, and when I did ride that bike, it wasn't, I don't think I had the same range or something like that, or if it was a different setup. I can't remember how it was, because it was another free rigid mountain bike. But anywho, and then before that, I had a free Spirit that I got for $10 at a garage sale in 2018, 2019, and that one, I think all the gears worked. but I stopped riding it, and something happened to it to make me stop. I was using it as my secondary bike, but anyways, I really felt it. I lost stamina. I drank a bunch of water, but I think I need a little bit more, or just it was so hot, and my hat under my helmet being thicker than the other one that I usually use, and needing to shave. Glad that I shaved my chest and stomach though. Probably been worse. But anywho, I had to take 3 breaks, and in between the second and third, this lady, she was walking down the hill. She was like in her 50s or 60s, and she was rooting me on. Gave me a slight second wind, but it only lasted for like 2 minutes. I almost got to the top. I just decided I was feeling kind of meh after the third rest. I wasn't initially gonna walk, but since I was like 100 feet, 200 feet from the top, I just KO'd and sat down a couple times because I was huffing and I was puffing. If I wouldn't been huffing and puffing, it would have been fine. I might not have started in the right gear. I think I went too light and accidentally overexerted because I did a little premature trying to get ready, but I think I did it too soon, that once the incline actually happened, I accidentally wore myself out due to the heat and going in the gearing that makes it look like you're not getting anywhere if you're on flat ground. When you look like you're going at snail's pace because you're going and going, but in the realm of pedaling but not moving. Alright, so I got you around. Oh, yeah. That might be where I want to be. I keep forgetting I keep changing where I'm going throughout. I was gonna go one place, forgot about it, then I come over, then I was gonna go to Benicia, and I decided not to because I forgot they are working on the overpass and they might not be, and then I forgot there was a community sale today. Actually, a few community sales, but a big one I've gone to a couple of times, like twice, once if not twice, once for sure, in Hidden Brook. It's a gated community in between Vallejo, American Canyon, and Fairfield. Really Vallejo and Fairfield, but added American Canyon since one of the ways to get there, you take American Canyon Road either way to go to or from if you don't want to take the freeway. So that's that. I'm by the skate park. Didn't know that. Shoot. Gotta walk. Forgot about this. Even though I saw it. Alright, I'm gonna turn this off. I'm gonna turn the camera off while I figure out where I'm going. I'll turn it on. I just don't want to waste the battery and the SIM card because I had to start this clip after the other one because it randomly did that thing it does where it stops. I'll be back in a few seconds for you. What of you should come up here more often? I just don't. because it sucks with the single speed and fixed gear ratios I have right now. Not that conducive to these kind of hills. They're not that bad, but these are some big ones. Usually I can do it on either gear type, but I haven't put much effort since 2013. I do go up most hills, but they're kind of standard, like overpass type inclines and slightly higher. Nothing to this magnitude, since they're best suited for gears or a single seat or fixed gear that's in between being good for straightaway and uphill, or a gearing that's just good for uphill, as you can see in front of me. I think what I mean. Where's that trail go? Maybe I should take that trail. Might not be as steep, but yes, hopefully the shot shows it. Trying not to bend over, but kind of hard. I got the straps tighter, but then I don't know, kind of still looks kind of funky from my angle, looking above the camera. And I forgot to turn off the mic, and I just turned it off like 2 or 3 minutes before I started recording again. But oh well, not a big deal. Just wish I had a spare for it on me. Don't think I do. Oh, which way do I go? It's been a while. I haven't been here since 2013. Last night sucked. I woke up at like between 2 and 2:30 this morning because I could have sworn I heard someone in our backyard, and I mentioned it to my mom and she thought the same thing, but then we both said we thought separately and agreed that it was probably more likely an animal, just because ever since the neighbor that lives behind us put up a new, he had a lot next to his house and a few people had used it before, so that's where the suspicion came from. But the last 4 or 5 years, 3 years, whatever, it seems to have blocked it off because it's a pretty high fence. I don't think people want to deal with it because I think someone lives in the lot too now, like a mini house. So some animal. Plus, my dad put at some point, I don't know if it was before or after the last time someone ran through our backyard in 2012, 2011, 2013, and then a cop ran through the house right after. That was an odd one. Sometime around there or before, my dad tried to make it as hard as possible for someone to jump over the gate. There's some barbed wire above the top of the gate, so there's some barbed wire right above the top pointy parts of the gate. But then he also put 2 to 4 fishing bells. If you've gone fishing, you know, or you know some of the fishes, the kind you put on your pole, so when the fish start biting, you can know, because then it'll jingle, jingle, jingle. Keeping a bunch of those so on top of the barbed wire, so in case someone did try to go either way through the gate, even though they might not fit, he just did it in case they randomly could and they didn't see it, and would detour them because how loud it is. Okay, don't want to go left. I thought I was lost, kind of lost, but I know the street. I'm trying to get to where the Zodiac did his first attacks, but I didn't want to go. The other way may have been easier, but it was more hilly. The way I took, I think it was slightly less hilly, but I may have needed to take a different route. May not have been either route, or it may have been the way I didn't want to go. So I might not go there, because I've never gone up there, and I think it might be a lot of hills, which is fine, but I still have to go home. And I'm not even that far away from home, it's just going up all the hills, the altitude, the elevation, and going here, going there, random routes, changes the course versus my normal straightaways with a few inclines and descents sprinkled in. Okay, so I know the street I'm on, and a few over here. I'm just I just really did a huge loop on accident. I guess I'll just do it tomorrow instead, because now I'm thinking about it in my head. I'd be going up the hill I was just on, if I'm correct in my estimation. Okay, so I guess I should have turned right. I know the street. I've only gone on it a few times on bike. Or maybe I should turn left there. Let's see. It's a quartz. Maybe. Saw a funny post before I left the house this morning. Oh, did I mention that I don't think I mentioned, I went on a tangent. That story I said about me waking up between 2 and 2:30. I haven't gone to sleep since then, so I'm kind of out of it, but not really. Like I want to be, but I went to sleep between 10 and 11:30, and I woke up between 2 and 2:30, thinking someone was in the backyard. And then, since I sprung up, I wasn't really that tired after investigating to see there. I didn't find anyone, at least when I looked. But then, like an hour later, sometime between 3 and 3:30, I was glad I was awake, because all of a sudden, after I heard my dad, since it was so late, I knew when he got out of the bathroom, and then a few seconds later, I hear a huge thud come from his room. So I go and look, and he's face down on the ground. So at least I was up to help him get up. But it was also annoying because, again, more annoying than 3 weeks ago when he fell. That time it was at like 10 p.m. something like that, after he got back from hanging out with a friend, and my mom was awake. But since this was at 3 in the morning and she was in a sound asleep, I couldn't have her hold the dog like that time, so she would not shut up. It was so annoying. Felt bad for our neighbor next door because he's a couple years older than my parents. He's in like his 70s, I think, maybe 80s. I don't know how old he actually is. So I was hoping he didn't wake him up because she wouldn't stop, which made helping him be prolonged, because she kept, not only was she barking, she would come up every few seconds out from under the bed and start nipping at me, which it's not as scared me, it's just the room is so small and we're all so close together that I had to like wait in between every time, just because I didn't want her to, if she did, even though she's a multi-poo, she actually has teeth for a smaller dog, so I didn't want her to bite me while I was holding him and then like me fall on him type situation. So that was a mess. It ended up working out. I just had to figure out how to get him on, so he was on his knees in between her trying to bite me. If she would have just been barking, it would have been fine. But since she thought I was attacking, every time he falls, she thinks I'm attacking him. She doesn't know how to react, which is fine that she's protecting him, but it's also awkward at the same time if I don't have my mom to grab her, because as I said, I don't care if she barks at me. I'm not afraid of her. It's just having to try to pick him up and then wonder if I'm gonna get bit or not makes something that's not that difficult kind of difficult, you know? Because it's not that hard to get. I found out the easiest way, if he's fully on the ground, on the side, on the back, face down, to pick him up, is just, if I hover over him and do a deadlift, it's the easiest way, because then I can just control him until I get him on his knees and get him on the bed, or either pick him up all the way or just help him get to his knees. It's just when he falls completely, that's the problem. If he can get his bearings and he's on his knees and he has something to grab a hold of, he can go from there. But since I figured he fell and it was in the middle of the night, I figured I should check it out, because I didn't want him to be stuck in that situation. So I was glad, even though my slumber got disrupted, I was able to help him. And he was very grateful in the moment as well this morning. But of course, the little grump had to be on her defenses again before I left, once he finally got out, because that kind of disrupted his sleep. I think he was going back to sleep, and then from what he told me, he doesn't really remember what happened since it happened so quick, but he like went to lay down and he like slipped. He can't remember if he slipped on the floor or he didn't have the full amount of mattress he needed for him to have, like, if he he was too far over to where when he tried to move, he just lost it because there wasn't enough for him to balance on. That's what he thinks happens. He just gauged it wrong since it was so late. I thought his leg just went out on him because he was in the bathroom for like 15 or 20 minutes, I thought, but could have been a little less. So I thought since he was so late and he sat for too long, because that's happened to him a couple times the last 2 or 3 years. If he sits down too long and he loses circulation and he gets up too quick, it can be disastrous. But it was all good. Just felt bad seeing him laying there, not really, at least this time, unlike a couple weeks ago, he was able to maneuver. This time he wasn't upset. That time, 2 or 3 weeks ago, he was kind of drunk, I think, and then he got all upset not being able to pick up his guitar. So the combination and whatever happened while him and his friend were at the open mic, he got a little emotional. Something he kind of shut down. That time he like wouldn't really move because he was thinking, he kind of got whatever was going on with him mentally, brought him in the mindset of thinking he wasn't able to walk again. So he wasn't trying. He wasn't trying to be stubborn. He just got really legit upset. So I was glad this time at least he was able to kind of help me, because where he was, since the room was so small, it was very hard. So he was able to scooch once I picked him up off of the ground and placed him in an upright position. He did kind of slide himself to try to help as best that he could with his limited mobility at that moment. But yeah, feel bad for him because he'll do fine. It's been going on since sometime between 2013 2015. I'm not exactly sure because I had a concussion I was dealing with, so it could have happened without me knowing or with me knowing and me forgetting. So it's around there, and he'll do fine, but then he'll just randomly have some spells where whatever will happen, and he'll lose his footing, or like I said, he'll get up too quick when he's been sitting down or laying down, and then he'll lose it because he'll get up too quick for his body to process. I don't know if it's related to the diabetes or not, but he is diabetic, so that's in there as well. Sometimes he'll have a seizure too, which is never fun, and he doesn't know what's going on, as you don't. Once you come back, that always, when those happen, I feel bad for him because he looks so helpless, and he looks so helpless once he's there, and then once he's getting his bearings back, very not able to verbalize, kind of move, depending on the scenario. So I'm glad I can help assist, because it's a lot easier if I just do it, because my mom gets all panicky, and I don't know if it were to happen if I was not around, what would happen, just because 10 times out of 10 she doesn't make sense, and she usually repeats the same thing like 20 times. Maybe not 20 times, but at least 10 times, and doesn't really, she tries to help, but she usually stands there or stands in the way. What are you doing? Like I wasn't gonna. What a moron! Like it wasn't gonna be cut off. At least he gave me the sorry gesture. But seriously, couldn't wait till I passed. Since he wasn't even on the correct side of the road. Ugh. Wonder what time it is. Alright, so tomorrow I'm gonna go up. I'm gonna go home now, chill, edit this video, see if I can get it up today or tomorrow. I already uploaded the third part of the other video, so I don't know when this will actually go up. It is Saturday, October 2nd, not 22nd, 2nd. So this might go up today, tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday. It all depends on what time it is when I get home, how long it takes to edit, and if I can use the Wi-Fi. I guess I'll see. But anywho, like, share, subscribe. Let me know what you think about the new whip. Digging the option of being able to get back into shape when it comes to riding gears, so I can go in between having. What I want to do is, once my crew is working again, when I get new cranks on it, have this, have that, and then have the mongoose, and then have one of the other two. One as a single speed. Probably have the mongoose as a single speed, then the defender as a fixed gear. So then I could have choices. I like having choices. I'm not against just the solitary option, but you know, mix it up. Especially because I used to ride road bikes and single speeds, going in between throughout the week or week to week. There'd be a 700C 58 centimeter, 59 centimeter, whatever, 60, 61, or a 20-inch BMX. And then I ride a road bike on the in-between. I like having, even though I don't like gears most times, but I do like the advantages. I understand. Especially since I live near San Francisco, I definitely understand. So, you know, what I meant to say is, I'm glad I have this now, because then it'll help me get in shape again when it comes to all around riding, whether it's hills or not hills. Alright, I guess I'm out. For realsies, I was about to say goodbye, but it turned off again on me. So like, share, subscribe. If you want any new content, maybe me working on a bicycle, if you got this far, I could do a repair. I got the goods in the realm of tools, bikes, and work stand, or maybe some vloggy stuff, or maybe intermittent vlogs. Let me know if you want to see my silly face. Alright, have a good day, have a good weekend, or week, depending on when this goes up. But either way, have a good day, week, month, year. Bye.